Imagine who you would be, what you could achieve if you always made the best decisions. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you'll be a step closer to that. Sit back and relax as we unlock the incredible potential of our emotions and master the art of decision making. To truly understand this subject, we must start by exploring the concept of paradigms, the hidden forces within us. They control our habitual behavior. It's the lenses through which we see life, shaping how we perceive and interpret the world around us. Picture it as unique thought patterns for each individual. It's the mediator between your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Just like how you digest food and your heart beats with no conscious effort, thoughts emerge. You do not make thoughts. But the fascinating thing is, we have the power to choose thoughts. If we choose thoughts that are in harmony with our paradigms, we feel comfortable and feel like trash when thoughts differ from it. Your body is a molecular structure and it vibrates so fast that it appears to be still. A low vibration represents negative feelings, while a high one represents positive feelings. Let's say you got a new idea. Before taking action, your paradigm checks it and calls the terror barrier. The terror barrier includes worry, fear, and anxiety. During this period, anxious thoughts pop up into your conscious brain. These thoughts trigger the release of stress hormones that affect your heart rate, eventually resulting in lowering your emotional vibrations. If the new thing is really worth pursuing or adapting, you would endure the pain. A new paradigm would be formed. To arrive at a new vision or any change to happen, the paradigm has to change. And this starts with changing the way you think. Paradigm shifts happen when new beliefs challenge the old ones and outweigh them. For instance, you may be planning to buy a house. Very likely, this is driven by the comforting beliefs of security and societal approval. But if you gather insights about this topic and learn about money, a profound paradigm shift can happen, and so can your actions change. The same thing can be said about addiction. A smoker believes that he can't stop smoking and even buys books and takes treatments to support this belief. The reality is, you can stop smoking right away. All it takes is to stop lighting the cigarettes and putting it in the mouth. But the person has more beliefs supporting smoking than those that are against it. And actions are totally dictated by beliefs. The education against smoking is not effective because beliefs resonate much stronger with replicating others than education. This is why having a mentor is very important. We copy our friends, family members, and even celebrities that we follow. The more time you spend with a person, the closer your paradigms get. Many of us believe that emotions happen to us and we're supposed to deal with them. Not true. Emotions are not given to you at birth, and neither are they universal across all humans. Genetics and environmental factors play a big role. Emotions are simply predictions in your brain about how you will feel in the future. Let me explain. Your body communicates with your brain, providing vital information about its well-being, such as glucose levels, oxygen levels, overall metabolic status, pretty much all the factors that keep you alive and well. And your brain doesn't interpret these changes one-to-one basis. Instead, it gives you a summary of what's happening both internally and in the outside world. That summary is senses, emotions, and thoughts. This is how your subjective experience of reality is created. For example, during depression, the brain believes that there is a metabolic problem. So it adopts a cost-cutting approach, leading to symptoms like fatigue, reduced pleasure, and concentration. Emotions are predictions of the future. Where do these predictions come from? Your brain uses past experiences as ingredients to predict the future. So, if we want to change our emotions, we can simply alter our predictions, and to do that, we need to change our past. Yeah, we can't change historical events, but we can reshape our perception of them. That is psychotherapy, processing emotions in a healthier manner. Unfortunately, this is very challenging. A much more effective approach is to change the present, as it becomes the past of our future. Just like exercising to become healthier, you can invest energy to create new experiences, and then your brain can use them to make different predictions. Expectations. They're like the fake version of predictions. They're adjusted according to one's hopes, fears, and preferences. And your happiness is tightly bonded with it. We are fulfilled only when expectations align with reality. Let's say your boss is annoying. If you expect bosses to be annoying, life is good. But our brains love to add color to events, like bosses shouldn't be annoying. Where you got that from? Now you're doomed. Happiness is peace at motion. Peace is happiness at rest. Actually, what we want is peace. I won't get into philosophy, that's for another video. But we gotta touch on desire. Desire dictates your happiness. Desire is a promise you make to yourself that till you get what you want, you will be unhappy. As soon as you get a new desire, your happiness level drops. And when you do reach the desire, if you do, your happiness comes back to initial level. Reaching a desire or a goal does not make you happier. As Alex Hormozy would say, you have already reached goals that you said would make you happy. We catch the emotional energy of those around us. Happiness is a social gathering, stress in workplace. Your friend yawns and now you're yawning and you were not even tired. As women spend time together, their menstrual cycles synchronize. Estrogen and progesterone leaks out of their sweat and permeate through each other's skin. What's truly remarkable is that these synchronizations don't occur randomly. Cycles of all of the females align with that of the alpha female. Stress is transferred in the same way. Cortisol leaks out of sweat and reaches to others. Hierarchies are everywhere, and stress flows downwards in hierarchies. In a company, CEO stress affects the well-being of everyone below them. Wait, what is stress? Physically, stress happens when something wants to be in two places at once. If I take an iron beam and apply pressure to different directions, I'm creating stress in the beam because one side wants to be in the north and the other side wants to be in the south. In a person, stress arises when we can't decide what's important. I need to go to that party, but I also need to work. But when you truly give up on something, it's no longer stressful. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. This law fits perfectly to our emotional energy. Energy can be transferred, transformed, or conserved. Let's say you're going through some shit. You can conserve your energy, suppressing it. Later on, manifests itself in physical issues like high blood pressure, inability to sleep, driving to the bar and drinking all night. You can also transfer the energy, talking to others or going around with a long face. If you keep doing this, bro, you simply got shit vibes. Lastly, you have the ability to transform the energy, turning anxiety into anticipation. It's the same energy, but carrying a different signature. These negative thoughts and emotions carry huge tons of energy. So why transfer it or conserve it? It can be your fuel, the gasoline to your fire. Also, when energy is conserved, it has a compounding effect. This is observed in PTSD. If someone undergoes abuse and carries the trauma for decades, the energy of it magnifies. From a clinical perspective, when trauma is verbalized, it tends to diminish. The plot twist here is, this goes for positive energy as well. Sustaining motivation involves a deliberate choice to not discuss your plans with others. Freud discovered that language can be a substitute for action. This stems from the fact that both language and action originate from a shared reservoir of energy. Examine the roots of your emotions. Where do they stem from? For instance, if you find yourself becoming angry at something, it's often due to a clash in your personal beliefs. Upon closer examination, you will likely discover that underneath, you do hold beliefs that actually align with the source of anger. So, it's never the event or the person that gets you angry. It's your brain not wanting to alter the balances in your belief systems. You may find feelings that stem from envy, fear, and even paranoia. Here, your ego will step in and make you unconscious to them. This may be comforting in the beginning, but in the long run, it makes you defensive and unable to progress. So you gotta stop that motherfucker in the face. Philosophers talk about living in the moment. Why? There is a strong connection between time and emotions. Majority of negative emotions are anchored to the past or future. Regret from the past, anxiety from the future, and most of the positive emotions are anchored to the present. Right now, you're watching this video, here and now. There is absolutely nothing wrong. The ability to feel bad about the past or the future is a self-evident proof that you're okay. After all, if you're genuinely in danger, your mind would be focused on survival, not on losing your job in 3 weeks. Emotions serve crucial purposes in life. Each emotion has a unique role, helping us navigate through the complexities of existence. Negative emotions hold valuable life lessons and must be processed to grow and adapt. The mental health crisis we face today, in large part, is a consequence of us not providing our minds with the necessary time and space to process emotions. Whenever we get into discomfort, we immediately distract ourselves, scrolling and stimulating. Addicts are not only those who got needles in their arms, but also those who can't sleep because they gotta touch digital screens. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Awareness, the cornerstone of emotional control and effective decision making. You see, emotions are like waves. They take you higher and pull you down. They come and they go. Whenever an emotion arises, you can simply step out of it. Putting yourself into a third-person perspective, analyzing yourself and your emotions from a distance. For this, all you have to do is label the emotion. During this period, your brain undergoes a remarkable transformation. It shifts from the emotional-driven limbic system to the analytic and rational frontal lobe. This rational part of your brain needs a lot of oxygen. So now you know, to activate your smartness, you've got to inhale deeply and observe your emotions. In the realm of effective decision making, it's essential to distinguish between rational and emotional thinking. When emotions dominate our thoughts, we funnel our thinking towards a single, often an intense conclusion, as if all roads lead to one destination, guided by an emotional compass, rejecting alternatives. It leads to repetitive explanations that represent helplessness, complaining, and blaming. On the other hand, rational thinking enables us to explore many potential outcomes for a given situation. When we are rational, our thoughts lead us to various destinations, embracing complexity. The more you step out of reacting and start observing, the better you will get at it. By practice and repetition, you will become the master of your emotions, always acknowledging their source and analyzing if your approach is rational. To clearly understand how we make decisions, we should learn how our brains work. Thanks to Daniel Kahneman's groundbreaking work, we can take a peek at this. You know how I told you to sit back and relax? Now you better sit tight for this. To observe your mind in automatic mode, take a glance at this picture. Just by observing her dark hair and facial expression, you sensed her anger and thought she was about to say some unkind words. Now look at this problem. Without much thought, you know for sure the answer is not 19,262 or 1297. But you also can't be certain that the answer is 848. Now, unlike the first picture, you've experienced slow thinking. Your muscles tensed up, your blood pressure increased, and your pupils dilated. Upon finding the answer or giving up, your pupils contracted back to its normal size. That's system 2, attention with effortful mental activity. It's subjective to choice and concentration. While system 1 operates automatically and quickly, no effort, no voluntary control. Your paradigm sits right here in system 1. When we look at ourselves, we identify with system 2. And we also want to believe that we come up with ideas and beliefs. Sorry to break it to you, but system 1 is the source of beliefs and decisions. It generates patterns of ideas. System 2 puts these ideas in an order of steps. Yeah, man. Free will, you said? I don't know about that. At most times, System 1 is in control, but occasionally, System 2 takes over, freewheeling the functions of System 1. Think of a car overtaking a truck. The passengers shut up because they know distracting the driver is not a good idea. Also, they suspect that he's temporarily deaf and won't hear what they say. In tasks, focusing on a task can make people effectively blind. Our awareness has limited capacity. And if System 2 is totally activated, it consumes all of the energy. Tasks that require self-control or cognitive reasoning instantly lower blood glucose levels. The Invisible Gorilla is an amazing example for this. In a short film, two basketball teams, one wearing black and one wearing white, passes the ball. People were instructed to count the number of passes made by the white team, ignoring the black team. Halfway through the video, a person wearing a gorilla suit comes into the shot, thumps her chest, and moves on. She was in the shot for 9 seconds, and more than half didn't notice it. When we're awake, both System 1 and 2 are active. System 1 generates suggestions, such as intuitions, intentions, and impulses. If System 2 approves them, intuitions and intentions turn into beliefs. Impulses turn into voluntary action. You can think of System 1 as a model in your brain of how the world is and how it should be. Any event that violates System 1's model grabs our conscious attention. This suddenly activates System 2, and we call this surprise. In that world, cats don't bark, lamps don't jump, and gorillas do not cross basketball courts. This is important because if it happens with epiphany, it leads to changes in System 1. System 1 also responds to impressions that System 2 is unaware of, unconsciously affecting our behavior. Being watched. In an office in British University, employees paid for tea and coffee by dropping money in an honesty box. Just above the price list, a poster was put with no warning or explanation. The experiment took 10 weeks, and each week, the picture was changed. Guess what? People put more money if the poster had eyes on it. Their System 1 activates morality only when it's watched. This also explains why stocks with trade symbols like CAR and LUMBO outperform those with symbols like PXG or RDO. Easy pronunciation and clarity creates a sense of trust among investors. These subtle cues affect our decisions more than we realize. Okay, we get it. We do stuff that are outside our control. That's all on System 1. But don't be trusting System 2 now. System 2 can be busy and often lazy. There are evidences showing that when people are tired, they're more likely to fall to persuasive messages such as commercials. Cognitive illusions and biases operate in System 1. They lead to misperception of events and result in making poor decisions. It's almost impossible to detect them because they're hidden below our consciousness. But we can recognize other people's biases and illusions and reflect it onto ourselves. Remember, none of us are immune to these biases and traps. Acknowledging them can help you put light on them and hopefully make better decisions. We're going to look at some points from prospect theory and game theory. Loss aversion. People fear loss more than equivalent gains, exaggerating the negative impact of losing something as opposed to the positive impact of gaining the same thing. This leads to risk-avoiding behaviors. The ratio is from 2-to-1 to 9-to-1. This means losing $10 has the same impact as gaining $20 to $90. The human brain is mostly dictated by loss. It's always about what we're losing, missing, or what we could have done. Loss aversion always finds a way into our psyche. Paradox of choice is one of its manifestations. Regardless of what we pick, we feel like we're missing out on the better options, essentially losing them. We believe having lots of options give us liberation, but the reality is it makes us paralyzed and miserable. Even if we do make decisions, we end up being dissatisfied with them. Humans rely heavily on the first piece of information they encounter, leading to an anchor effect. When making decisions, adjustments are made according to anchors, and this results into biased judgments and opinions. Confirmation bias. We search for evidences that support our ideas and beliefs, totally disregarding the evidences against them. This is done to hold on to an idea or to convince ourselves that we have arrived to them rationally. It's very common when people are designing plans, underestimating the time, cost, and risk of future actions and overestimating benefits. You can also spot this when people ask for advice. Most of the time, people know exactly what should be done, but keep asking the same advice over and over just to validate their points instead of taking action. Social media and online algorithms contribute much to this. They create the perfect echo chambers that lead us to solidifying our beliefs and viewpoints. Their algorithms are designed to continuously expose us to information that validates our opinions, and this makes us narrow-minded. Conviction bias. I believe in this idea so strongly, it must be true. If you find yourself loudly contradicting to those who challenge your idea, deep down, you probably doubt its truth, but you go an extra mile to convince yourself that it is true. Group bias. We take up ideas and opinions from our groups. We are unaware of this pull and imagine that we have certain ideas to our own. Wrong. Is it by magic people in groups follow the same direction on issues and only a few admit this influence? Group settings begin with talking about values and ideas that everyone shares, creating a pleasant feeling of agreement. They always have abstract and noble goals rather than solving specific problems with concrete actions. If you want to maintain your reasoning powers, it's best to avoid the group setting. Rationality is something to be acquired by individuals, not by mass movements. Superiority bias. I believe I hold more rational and ethical views than others. This comes across as arrogant. But the polls show that most think this way. Oh, come on. Your political party, your religion is the only correct one. These qualities are highly promoted by the culture. If you don't show these signs, you're at great risk of disapproval. Good luck with that. Last and foremost, the sunk cost fallacy. This is the hardest one to conquer. We persist on a course of action due to our prior investments. That can be money, time, and effort, even though the current cost clearly outweighs the benefits. This ongoing commitment reduces our capacity to evaluate situations objectively. Due to this fallacy, most individuals get trapped in the status quo, persisting jobs they hate, clinging to relationships destined for failure. It can have very high consequences in the long term. And the deeper you get into it, the harder it becomes to get out. We get it, man. You bought the ticket. But if the movie's shit, get out. You're worth more than that. I want to end this video by the words of Robert Greene. Emotional self thrives on ignorance. The moment you're aware of how it operates and dominates you is the moment it loses. To bring your rational self, start by looking inwards and learning yourself thoroughly.